Hello everyone, today we'll see the demo of our mock interview, which is a new feature on our website. Let's suppose this is a job description. You can just select everything and copy and go to our website. Look for this mock interview, open it and then paste everything here. Select your industry type, experience level and voila, start.
Hello, I'm your AI interview coach from EaseLearn. I'll be conducting a mock interview with you today to help you prepare for your entry-level tech job interview. This session will last about 10 to 15 minutes and will cover your background, technical skills, behavioral questions, a problem-solving scenario, and your career motivation. I will provide feedback after each answer you give to improve your interview skills. Let's begin. Can you tell me a little about your background and what motivates you to apply for this software engineer position?
Yes, hello, I'm Rahul Jaiswal. I'm a third year CSC graduation student. I study in VIT Vellore.
Okay, Rahul. It's good to know you're a third-year computer science student at VIT Vellore. What specifically interests you about software engineering, and why are you applying for an entry-level position at this company?
Software always intrigued me ever since I was a kid, and that is why I went and go ahead with my software engineering degree. And yeah,
Okay, it's good to hear that your interest in software started at a young age and motivated you to pursue your degree. Can you tell me about any specific software projects or experiences you've had that you're proud of and that you believe make you a good fit for this role?
yeah, there are several. For example, I once made a Python script to automate WhatsApp messages. I once made a Python script to automate the comment on the Instagram or to find available Instagram username. Also, there are several React and Node.js projects that I have been worked upon. For example, my project Invest IQ, in which I was developing a
Okay,
website.
those are some interesting projects. Automating WhatsApp and Instagram interactions with Python shows initiative and some practical problem-solving skills. The React and Node. JS projects, like InvestIQ, also suggest you're working with modern web technologies. Could you tell me more about your role in the InvestIQ project? What were your specific contributions?
I made the entire website on React and Node.js. The website was even
Okay.
hosted.
Okay, that's great to hear, Rahul. So you were responsible for the front end using React and the back end using Node.js. That demonstrates good full stack capabilities. Now let's shift gears a bit. Can you describe your understanding of the software development lifecycle, or SDLC, and your role in it?
Right. Software development lifecycle begins with the idea, and then we continue with the architecture, in which we describe how everything fits upon and worked in the later on progress. And then, with the architecture ready, we can work upon the front end, back end, and ultimately we can get our product ready and ready to deploy.
Okay, Rahul, your description of the SDLC is accurate, starting with an idea, then architecture, followed by development, and finally, deployment. Can you tell me more about your approach to writing code? Do you have any particular strategies you use to write clean, testable, and well-documented code?
Yeah, I use the typical format for writing the code, and I use comments everywhere that I find it's necessary to write, so that any other developer that might work on that code find it easy to understand the code.
Okay, using comments for code clarity is a good practice. Can you also share your experience with test-driven development? Have you used it in your projects? And how do you ensure the quality and reliability of your code?
Yeah, the quality and the reliability of the code totally depends on the beta testing. And after the development of the software or the product, beta testing is one of the most important step that we have to go through.
Okay, so you see beta testing as a key part of ensuring quality. Now let's move on to some behavioral questions. Can you tell me about a time when you faced a significant technical challenge in a project and how you resolved it?
Yeah. So when I was working on a project Invest IQ, the front end and back end was ready, and my website was working on a local host. But whenever I was deploying it using the uh, uh, Vercel, it did not deploy. It always rang into an error. And ultimately I
Okay,
found out the API key was missing in the final project that I was deploying. So yeah, that is how I tackled and looked into all the things and went through all the errors, and I ultimately got to know that the API key was missing.
Okay, that's a good example of troubleshooting a deployment issue. It sounds like you were able to pinpoint the missing API key through careful debugging and reviewing the error logs. Now let's move on to a problem-solving scenario. Imagine you're tasked with designing a system to manage a large number of user accounts. What data structure or database would you choose to store the data efficiently, and what factors would influence your decision? Please take 2 minutes to think about the approach and let me know when you're ready.
I would use Node.js to store all the database because it is easier to make the tabular form in that and to fetch the data whenever needed.
Okay, you would use Node. JRE, but Node. JS is a runtime environment, not a database. So you would use Node.js for the backend. What database would you use?
I meant to say NeonDB.
Okay, you would use NeonDB. Now, can you tell me a bit more about your decision? Why do you think NeonDB would be suitable for managing a large number of user accounts? Also, what factors influenced your choice? And are there any trade-offs you considered?
Yeah, the NeonDB provides a multiple of features such as tabular formation, easy fetching of the data whenever required, and it is faster than other databases. So this is why I chose NeonDB.
Okay, so you chose NeonDB because of its tabular structure, ease of data fetching, and speed. While it is a good choice, considering other database options like SQL or NoSQL databases based on the specific requirements can further strengthen your approach. Now, for the final question, what are your long-term career goals, and how does this software engineering position align with them?
In my long-term career goal, I want to be ahead of a project and ultimately launch a product by overseeing its entire needs from ideation to the deployment of the product. Basically, a senior product manager.
Okay, that's great, Rahul. You aspire to be a project manager and oversee product development from conception to deployment. This entry level position as a software engineer will provide the foundational technical expertise and experience you'll need to progress towards that goal. That concludes our mock interview. Do you have any questions for me?
No.
Okay, great. Based on your responses and my feedback, you have a good foundation in software development concepts, and you've demonstrated initiative with your personal projects. To further improve, consider practicing more structured problem solving scenarios and focusing on explaining your thought process more clearly. Also, you could further refine your responses to show in depth knowledge and understanding. To end our conversation, please click on the pause button now.
Can you take an example, a couple of the questions that you asked, and give the ideal answers for them?
Okay, sure. Let's take the question about the software development lifecycle, or SDLC. A good, comprehensive answer would start by highlighting that the SDLC is a structured process that outlines the steps involved in developing software from its initial concept to final deployment and maintenance. It involves the following key phases, such as planning, where you define requirements, feasibility, and goals. Then, design, which covers architecture and data structures. After that, implementation, which deals with writing the code. And lastly, testing and deployment, with the final maintenance. Also, a good answer will describe that there are several SDLC methodologies, such as Agile, Waterfall, and Scrum, each with their own approach, and that being flexible and able to adapt is key to a project's success. This is just an example, but I hope it clarifies what I meant by more in-depth answers. Now, please click the pause button to end our session.
And this was an example of a mock interview that it just conducted based on job description.